don't release any music until you're fully ready. That I wish I could have told myself when I was like 16, when I thought it was cool to release a track, and I wasn't there yet.
I have a series on YouTube called 5 Things Producers Need to Know. I thought I'd get you to give you your 5 things. Think of this as 5 things you'd tell your younger self they need to know to get to where you are now. Let's go for it. Number 1.
Absolutely. So number 1 is be patient. I've always told myself this from the get-go. And honestly, I had no patience for anything. It's terrible. But one thing I would tell my younger self is definitely be patient, and things will happen. You just got to take its course. Sometimes everyone needs a kick in the ass. Don't get me wrong, but I think patience is a really big key, and knowing when to step in, I think, is a really big point.
Okay. Number
2, I would say just trust the process. Let things happen. In the beginning, like when I was first starting to make music, the goal was to always like play with my cousin, or to play for somebody. And like what I realized over time was the more work you put in, the more music you make, the more respect you get, those slots will start to open for you, and things will happen. So it's just a matter of just trusting the process.
That's cool. Number 3.
Don't release any music until you're fully ready. That I wish I could have told myself when I was like 16, when I thought it was cool to release a track, and I wasn't there yet. You know what I mean? Like, and because of that, I changed from my real name to Avision, and which I'm happy I went through these things as an artist, because it's all a learning process. But like for me, if I see another up and coming guy, or if I see someone just starting to make music and they're sending me tracks, I'll be honest with them. I'll be like, yo, trust me, you don't want to put this out, because in 5 years, you're going to be like, I wish I never did that. It's the truth. Now everything's like looked at everything's looked at important, I guess, today. Like, your first record that you come out with should be a bang. You should want it to be, a killer record. And the first label you work with should be a really good label, So like, I kind of fooled around with my real name first, and I was able to like make those mistakes. And then when I switched over to Avision, there was no messing around. There was like, this is the way we're doing it. This is how I want to go about it. And that's what we did.
That's nice. You got that kind of trial and error, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I was young enough to have the trial and error, which thankfully, like right now, if I did a trial and error at 28 years old, you're shit out of luck, It's just how it works. I feel like it's always a young man's game, because it takes a decent amount of time to, grab that traction and build a career and start touring and all that stuff. So it's like, I was lucky to make the mistakes at a very young age and still come out of it with, being 23, 24 years old, starting a new project.
Testing Macaroon says, is there any proper creative truly happy with their work to release? How do you know when to stop?
Can you repeat that one more time? I'm sorry.
Is any proper creative truly happy with their work to release it? How do you know when to stop? How do you know when to go, right, it's enough, I'm ready, it's good enough?
So anyone that's like a proper creative should know when something's ready, I would assume. Don't get me wrong, there's guys that are like completely like dialed in, where like they're like, oh, this isn't good enough. I think that's a matter of like trusting yourself and trusting your ear as much as possible. Anyone who's like too dialed in, I feel like isn't the best creative, because if you're dialed in on like certain little things and you can't get that done, then you're just wasting your time. And the whole point of doing things is to release your music and to want to express that creative. And some guys are too dialed in. I talk about this all the time with one of my buddies. Like some guys like that are producers and also engineers, they'll sometimes focus on the mix way too much, and it'll fuck up their creative process. For me, I want to get my creative process out, and I'll worry about whatever else I got to do after that. Like for me, when I made In My Mind, it was write the vocal, get the vocal down. I want to hear this all together. And then I'll worry about the fine tuning, the little details. And you know what? Sometimes it takes a few tries to like go play it out and then come back into the studio and revamp certain things. But like, I think you need to trust yourself. You wrote that music for a reason, and getting someone to play it or playing it yourself on a platform is a great test. And that's when you kind of know when a record's ready. But I've had plenty of times where I didn't do that, especially in the beginning stages. I wasn't really playing my own music because I was playing opening slots. And, you just kind of have to trust yourself. And I think like having that experience of seeing other DJs play and seeing how, certain records work on a dance floor, that's a big thing. So I think, yes, there's guys that are like, yo, I don't think this is ready, but chances are it probably is,
That's cool. That was number 3, wasn't it? Number 4.
Let me see. Number 4 is trust your parents. They're usually right half the time. There's plenty of things where I should have just listened to my parents on, and they usually know a few things. So if I could turn back the clock, I would say, listen to them.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Chances are they're all right.
Yeah.
You got to think like my parents are 59 and they've been through it already. You know what I mean? Granted, times are different, but they've been through it already. Like there's just things you trust. And honestly, like my parents are my best friends. I get along with them really well. They're supportive and stuff. So it's like when they tell me things, I tend to, listen. Now,
cool.
Now that I'm older. Yeah.
When did that process start? Let's talk about that.
Honestly, I was always a pretty good kid. I didn't get into trouble. I don't really party, so they didn't have much to worry about. Not tapping myself on the shoulder, but when it came down to like just little things like the schoolwork and like this not the stupid things, but the important things when you're a younger kid, like make sure you do your homework on this time, make sure you're never late. Like those little things gear you up for life in general. Like I used to be like my senior year of high school, I was late every day. I had to deal with my homeroom teacher that, hey, listen, if you don't see me by first period, I won't be in school. But before first period, I will come check in so you don't mark me absent. Like I had a full on deal with her. And it was because I was always late. And you know what? Like now I can't stand being late. Like I hate that rush. I hate rushing to things, and I hate being late for things. So like that, those little things are what your parents teach you when you're a younger person, and there's certain morals and certain respect that, I always carry with me, and it's because of my parents, and that's why I listen to them.
Nice. And our final one, number 5.
My final one is always trust yourself. Your gut feeling is usually right. That's with life, that's with music, that's with anything. If it doesn't feel right, don't go with it. It's just how it is, because chances are it's not. Sometimes maybe I've been proven wrong, but 90% of my gut feelings are usually on the money, whether it's in business, music, like I said, personal life. That's how it is.
Nice. Thank you. They were cool.
Of course.
Watch this video next for more tips for DJs and producers, and consider subscribing so you get these videos first. I have been Graham Farmer, and thanks for tuning in this week. See you next week. Bye-bye.